All right, good morning. So we are here next day. This right here is going to be part three. John's not here with us this morning. He will be here shortly. We're going to go ahead and get started because today's going to take a little bit longer than yesterday. All right, we will be hitting the front suspension today on a 2026 Chevy Silverado, 4x4. Everything that we have compared to yesterday is times by 8, times by 10. We have a lot more today. So real quick, all your hardware, front arms, traction arms, we went ahead and painted some of these accent pieces, which we will put on at the very end. Just give it a little bit of a pop. John's idea. It'll match really, really nice on this white truck he's got. So uh, other than the hardware that it comes with, all your kits, brackets, bolts, um, drop down bars, everything that comes with a kit, some additional things that you're going to need. Obviously, a jack. I always suggest having an extra jack. Jack stands. I have a set of heavy duty jack stands and a smaller set. When we are doing this right here and we have it lifted up, sometimes you're going to need that smaller jack stand to get under some of these arms when they drop down. Make sure when you're lifting it, you're giving yourself enough clearance. Always, always, always make sure you have those heavy duty jack stands on the frame of this truck. Make sure you check it, give it a little wiggle, chalk those back tires, obviously. Keep this truck from moving. You're going to keep it in park the whole entire time. Other things for convenience items, just a little creeper chair. It's always nice. You're going to be going kind of low. If you get the truck up high enough when you have the creeper chair, it saves your back a little bit. You don't not as much bending down. Things that you're going to need to make sure that you have. Get you a little thing of Loctite. Some of these bolts, you're going to definitely want to make sure you have some. A paint pen, paint marker is always something good to have on hand when you are putting some of these bolts on. You can basically put a mark over the top of the nut and the top of the bolt and just a straight line. And what that tells you is when you come back after 100, 500 miles, whatever it is, whenever you're doing servicing on the front of this truck, you can tell if those lines are cattywampus, best way for me to put it. Other than that, tools that are going to be needed for this job. So I'll try to say them a little bit slow, and maybe we'll do some power of editing and we'll pop them up on the screen. But obviously our floor jacks, you're going to need a 10 millimeter socket. I believe you're going to need that for underneath the truck, as well as 10 millimeter socket. Once before you get started, make sure you disconnect this battery. There's a lot of electronics on these newer trucks. Make sure you're not deploying these airbags or messing up any sensors, all that good stuff. 13 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 17, 18, 21, 22, 24, 27. Here's where it gets a little crazy. You're going to need a 36 millimeter. So if you just have a standard toolkit, it'll probably usually get you up to a 19 to a 21. That'll get most of it done. You're probably, unless you just have a big garage, you might have to run out and go get a few of these sockets. Make sure that whatever you get fits whatever socket wrench you have or impact that you're using. Even if it's an impact ratchet. If you have an impact ratchet, I'm telling you, it's going to make this job so much easier. An impact always helps you out. But keep in mind, when we are tightening everything back down to this video, everything has a specific torque spec. So if you have a friend who has one, or you want to run to Harbor Freight or one of these cheaper stores, you can always go get you a torque wrench that is set to foot pounds and inch pounds and all that good stuff. But make sure you have that. Half-inch socket, 9/16, 3/4, a number 30 Torx bit, reciprocating saw, hammer, and lock pliers. If you don't have just a reciprocating saw, or maybe you have some air tools, pneumatic tools, all that stuff, die grinders, things like that will make this job a little bit easier, but it can be done without it. So without further ado, we're about to get some hands dirty. All right, first things first this morning, we're going to get started on this front end. As you can tell, we've already lifted the back end. We have a significant amount of lift. Plenty of clearance. John's opted to go for a 37-inch tire. He should have plenty of clearance. He will have to put a wheel offset on there for clearance on the front. So first thing that we're going to be doing this morning, we'll get these front tires off. We'll get this truck lifted, and we're going to remove the skid plate. We'll get on that right now. All right, so we've got the front tire off. We have jacked the truck up, disconnected
the connectors to the rear of the transmission and transfer case. We took a 21mm socket, loosened up this bottom nut on this tie rod, just tapped it a few times on the side, a few times up here at the top of the tie rod, not beating the crap out of it, just good and hard taps, and then struck it once from the bottom, popped right out. Now remember, this is a 2026, brand new, less than 500 miles on it, right at 500 miles. So you might have to do a little bit more beating than I did, but just keep in mind, that right there is gonna be your step one after getting everything started off. We've already got underneath, removed the original skid plate. That was 13mm, 6 bolts. They just come right off. Just set them to the side. Save your bolts, you might have to reuse them. But anyway, guys, we're getting into it now. All right, here we go. Okay, here we are. So we have that knuckle loose, and now we are about to get ready to start taking some of the ABS out, getting these brackets off and this caliper gone. I'm gonna show you what you need real quick, and then obviously I can't do this one-handed. I'll show you what we're gonna do, push through, and I'll be right back after that. But for right now, there's that knuckle. Go ahead and put that old nut back on it. You might not need it. I haven't looked at the kit yet. But first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect this right here, up top from that bracket. That's your ABS wire. You're gonna have a 10mm. You're gonna disconnect it right here off the knuckle, and another 10mm right down here. Get that off. You have a 10mm that'll take off the brake line bracket right here. Leave your brake line connected to your caliper. You're gonna take an 18mm, and you're gonna come to the back side. Let me see if I can get it. There we go. You have one up top and one down bottom right there. You'll take that caliper off. Make sure you get you an old clothes hanger, whatever you can find, and hang this caliper up. I would suggest as tight as you can, but hang it up back here. Find you something up top, right up here, to hang that wire off of, to keep that tension off that brake line. But other than that, we're about to get this right here taken out, and we'll be back for the next steps. All right, now that we got that caliper off, you got it hanging, you can simply just get you a piece of copper wire, hang it from this back arm. Just make sure that the brake line has slack in it and that you're not hanging it from that brake line. All right, so moving on to the next thing. This is that specialty socket I said you might need, because not everyone's got a 36mm laying around. But we're gonna get this CV nut taken off. Then you're gonna need to get a T30 torque. You have to remove this right here, and that way we can go ahead and get this rotor taken off. And then from there, we're gonna really start getting to disassembling it, get this whole knuckle off, and it's really kind of downhill after that. We'll just be putting some stuff back together, a little bit of finishing touches, and we'll have this passenger side knocked out. All right, we are making some progress now. So that T30 came out pretty simple. That 36, it's a long bolt to that CV. Next, we're gonna go put an 18mm on this upper ball joint. You're gonna wanna tap it right here. Don't take it all the way off. Leave it on there a little bit. You can see I already did. Got a little bit ahead of myself. I forgot to record. But leave the bolt on, the nut on, excuse me. You wanna tap the side of this upper knuckle. Soft taps just right around here. You're just trying to do some shock therapy on it, break it free. One little strike right there, pop, came right down for me. But now we're going to get some support under this knuckle. Right there, we'll get the jack out, get some support under here. Remember, have 2 jacks. So I have this one jack, it will stay right here. I will grab the other secondary jack, we'll put it under here to support this knuckle. Always have some insurance, y'all. Insurance, it's too expensive. But we're about to keep rolling on with it. All right, progress report. Knuckle is out. We took out this front one, lower tire, this rear tie rod, it's loose. The whole sway bar assembly will come out next. I'm about to figure out somewhere else. Didn't think that one through. I'm about to think of somewhere else to hang up that brake caliper. But anyway, got the tie rod out, got these bottom bolts to the strut out. Next, we'll be taking these 13mm out of the top. We'll be dropping this whole sway arm right here. Should already be dropping. There it goes. But anyway, it's under pressure. But we'll get those top bolts out. Show you what we got in here. So, this right here will be the new control arm. This is the one that came out. So we will start moving hardware over to the new one, and we're gonna get some more stuff disassembled. I'll make sure I check back in with you. We don't want to leave you in the dark on any of that. So, like I said, it's moving along pretty smooth. The nice thing about a new truck is, like we said earlier, man, one, I haven't had the first grain of dust fall in my eye. For you mechanics, you know what I'm talking about. That means a lot. So don't forget, we're not professionals. Also, take pictures as you go, because you can always go backwards to refer to something that you might have forgot, missed, or don't even know where a bolt goes. Sometimes it's as simple as that. So other than that, just keep trucking along with us, guys. All right, and the fun continues. So you can see that we took the inner fender well out. I had to rehang the brake caliper because I am gonna have to remove that tie rod right there. Not tie rod, sway bar, thank you. There's that fender well. It came out pretty easy. Pile of screws. So it's gonna be a T10 star bit, a 10 millimeter on this bottom side right here for this plate right here to come off. But all that just to make this right here a little easier. Could we have done it without it? Yes. But for convenience and knowing that we're getting a good torque on everything, we have to take out 3 right here at the top of the coil and shock absorber right here. There's 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. The one on the back you can actually probably get a deep well socket onto, which is what I'm planning on doing, get my impact wrench in there and get to that one. But these 2 front ones, for them to come out, we're gonna have to come in from the front with an open end wrench. So once we get that right there out, we'll get that pulled. We'll start putting that riser on there. We'll get this sway bar dropped. And then from there, it's just reassembly on the passenger side. Everything for the driver's side will basically be a ditto of it. So follow along. I'll be right back when I get some stuff taken apart. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of, man, will he fit? Well, this is where we're at so far. The sway bar, we have taken it down. Just got it hanging right now on this side right here. What we have to do now is drop this front drive shaft. And before we do that, we need to make sure that it is lined back up. So what we're gonna do is simply just take a paint marker and we're gonna draw us 2 lines right next to each other, just like that. And the reason being is weighted, balanced, everything. At least we know we'll have these 2 right here lined up when we go to reassemble it, which will be very important. So, other than that, until next time on an episode of Will It Fit?
All right, so we have the knuckles off. I've already completed one, which is right over there. John can take a look at it here in just a second. But I'm going to show you how one person, which real quick, let's take a break, man. Welcome back, John.
Thank you.
So,
I had to go to church, but I'm back.
yeah, John's back with us. We're going to show you how to disassemble the original knuckle, how we're going to transfer everything over. I'm going to show you how to do it with one person. So these bolts, there's 4 bolts on the back side of the original knuckle. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, these bolts are in there. So, little trick. If you spin it around, all you have to do is break them free. Find you a board. My little trick. Find you a board, get your cheater bar in there, and you're just wanting to break them free, all right? So if you take the board, kind of use it against yourself, easy way to do it. Oh, yeah. Oh, good thing it's me doing it. Would have killed half a man. All right, so 2 more to go, and then we will be able to bust these free.
What you think the torque spec is on them things?
It's got to be, I would say,
300 foot-pounds?
I'd say 300-400 million Uggas. It's definitely up there. All right.
Transition.
So we get this last one loosened up. Oh,
Let me get a hand up here.
yeah, thank you. Be careful.
There we go.
All right. Now that we got them broke loose, we can throw them on the impact, back those out the rest of the way. I want to show you there's two seals. Two seals. I know it looks like these things are just coming loose. Oh, we got to put one more ugga on this one. I'm telling you, when I say these things right here are on tight, I mean they are on there. My bad, that's your thumb. So when we get these off, we're going to have to tap them out. All four are the same size. You don't have to worry about keeping them separated.
We're going to retain that factory hardware?
Yep, we're going to retain the factory hardware. We're going to tap this out. When we do,
we're going to tap the center section.
Yep, we do not have to beat the ever-loving crap out of it. We just got to get them knocked out. So just kind of there we go. So there's that one ring.
Yep, there's that one seal.
And as you can tell, right in here we have another seal. What you're going to want is a little pick. I have one right here already ready to go. I say that. I put it over here. I've already moved it. So just get your little pick. And once you get it started, you can pull it out. Once you have that out, you're not completely done with this. So all the original screws for the bracketing hardware, you're going to have to transfer them over. So when you do, just lay it right here, and they literally line up. So save this. Don't put it on Facebook Marketplace just quite yet. So the first seal,
It's going to be your inner seal.
Your inner seal. And this truck is still so new. These rings are still greased. So, gosh, it just pops right in so nice and easy. Second,
There's a, if y'all could see, let me get in here, Brad. There's a groove already in these aftermarket knuckles from Rough Country. So,
and it's about midway into the knuckle. From there, just make sure you have everything lined up. So, you have two close holes, two short holes.
Dust shield.
And you want to make sure that your dust shield is facing the right way. When you set these in, just get as close to perfect as you can. Go ahead and take yourself 2 bolts. You just want to kind of lean this up a little bit without putting any unnecessary pressure. Oops, trying to tilt it your way.
All right.
On that dust shield. And you're just lining them up, get 2 started. I like to go diagonal, kind of like I'm threading tires. Make sure you get some hand threads on there before you put any UGA on it, because you definitely don't want to strip these out. And we are going to torque it down. So for right now, we're just going to get these 2 in. Pop our other 2 in. And I'm going to come back and really torque these down to whatever the spec is. I don't know right offhand, but before we do the install, we'll get them torqued down. I'm just going to bottom them out right now. Go ahead. What were you saying, John?
The Rough Country instruction manual has what the torque trick is, so you don't have to look and hunt and chase for it. It's right there in the instruction manual when you get to this step.
So we're not installing the bracket yet, but I don't want to be hunting it down when I am installing this knuckle. So all I'm doing is just getting these threaded in. And this is merely so I'm not hunting down what screw
goes where later on. And these are all for the ABS sensors, those brake lines, brackets, and so forth. But we're going to get these put in. We're going to get all these put in, and then we're going to push on to go ahead and getting these shocks and struts with the towers put on them. One other thing I want to mention on these shocks and struts. So this is the one from the driver's side. It will come with the tower, which we have right over here. They are labeled D and P for driver and passenger. So they will only line up one way, okay? Make sure you get them on where it is facing the correct angle, because these shocks are at an angle coming down. In the instruction manual, you will see that it'll tell you to remove this shim grommet right here out, and that there is an additional spacer. If your truck calls for that, you are going to have to compress your springs, take this out, your nut up top, pull everything off, get this shim reducer or the shim out, and put that spacer in there. Fortunately for us on the 2026, it doesn't call for it. We just have to install the tower, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap bracket at the bottom of these struts. So, meanwhile, we're going to get some of that installed, and we'll be right back. All right, hi, and welcome back to another episode of, man, that looks sketchy. So, we have released the rear cross member, all right? Got the sway bars disconnected. Everything's exposed. We took the front differential and have broken it free from this point and this point, disconnected our hardware up top. So now is the sketchy part. Everyone's favorite part to avoid. So 2 3/4. I don't know if you heard that fart on the camera, John, but we're going to cut 2 3/4. It's going to be mirrored on both sides. Basically, we're going to chop this part of the bracket off. The new bracket will fall in line, and this front differential will be able to then drop down. Once we get that right there cut, we're going to install some brackets, and then we'll throw our cross member in, and we'll be right back. Hopefully we cut once and measure 3 times. Is that what you said, John?
Yep.
All right. Well, wish us luck. Welcome back to another episode of Man, I Hate This Truck. All right, you can see right here where we made our cut, square as possible. We have installed our drop bracket, and John's going to show you from the outside over there where we had to unbolt that from. All right. We've also installed in our drop bracket for our differential right here, as well as, let me get a better angle for you, our drop bracket right here. Everything's already been torqued down. Sway bar has been reinstalled with the drop brackets for the sway bar installation. John's going to take you around and show you where you will need a T55.
So, this wasn't in the instructions, but there's a bolt there. You see the bolt there. The bolt there is a T55. Like I said, it's not in the instructions. As you can see, that drop bracket is bolted in with that bolt to the frame. And then that is what attaches your front differential there. So the front of your differential bracket is originally, see that circle piece is originally attached right here at that T55 bolt. We didn't know that at first. We were looking all over to see where it was because it wasn't in the instructions. So when you get the instructions from Rough Country, just know that that part is not included in the instructions. We did that last because we didn't know about it, but I'd probably recommend doing it last, right?
Well, I mean, I would say that definitely if we would have got it loose, we would have been a little bit better off, but I will say you're probably going to use a cheater bar to break it loose, and
Yeah.
you can kind of walk it off a little bit.
Yeah, it's tighter than frog butt.
And it is a threaded nut that's welded to the bracket on the other side, so it's impossible to get back there. But if you get this one right here off of that T55, you'll be golden. So, you know, our struggle doesn't have to be your struggle. But other than that, we're going to get ready to start putting these lower control arms on and get ready to start throwing these struts in. So we'll be back.
All right, guys, so as you see, we've got it pretty much put together now. So the upper control arm, we never had to do anything with it. All the factory hardware is still there, everything's good. The strut went in. The passenger side is way easier to get in than the driver's side. By that I mean you're able to get impact on one of them, that's it. Then you're hand tighten the rest of them, but that's how life goes. Last you saw us, we didn't have any of this put together, so the lower control arm is the next step. We put the lower control arm in with supplied hardware. And a little tip is we leave the track bar loose so we can get it in to the lower control arm before tightening the lower control arm, because if this is tight, this is a booger to get in. So after that, we get the lower control arm in. Next step is getting our strut in. As I showed you, it's a little bit easier to get it in up top. The C channel, little bracket deals, little spacer deals, they go on the back side facing inwards. And then we got supplied hardware coming there. They're 17 millimeter. Then we put the knuckle on, and we hooked it on the bottom first. So on the bottom, hook the knuckle in on the bottom of the lower control arm, got it up in there, replace the factory, or use the factory hardware to hold it in place while we went and got the jack, use the jack to jack it up so we can get the top in. Then after that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Tighten up your track bar, place the brackets in. See, we made paint marks on the steering arm here. Put the new tie rods in. Made sure you not to forget the greasable nipple there. Put the tie rods in, connected it to the knuckle. And then replacing all of your factory, the pads, the calipers, all that just like it was before. I'm using factory wheels, so as we stated in the video when we was doing the unboxing, that these were necessary, so we got those on ready to go. Wouldn't say it's simple, but we are definitely in there. So thanks for following along. We're gonna do a wrap up here in just a minute. We're almost done. We got a skid plate to put back on and the wheels and tires, and we'll be back to you.
All right, here we are, end of the video.
There it is.
Lift is complete.
Lift is done, man. We did a little test drive, not highway speeds, nothing like that. Just drove up and down the road, make sure no lights came on, nothing like that. Tell me what y'all think in the comments, man. It's how many hours total you think?
So I started by myself this morning on the front, just the front of the suspension lift. So for this part 3 was just the front. So I started this morning, spent about 2.5 hours by myself. You got here around noon.
Yeah.
What time is it now? It's 6. So
8 hours.
Yeah, about 8 hours on the front. Now that was not rushing ourselves. That was taking our time. We even stopped and had a little bit of lunch.
Yeah, and I had to run to the house.
Yeah, had to run to the house, get a Sawzall, because of course, you know, we were prepared from the very beginning of this video. But with the cutting, the breakdown, the assembly, overall for 2026 went really, really smooth. Remember, it only has 500 miles on it, so there's not a whole lot of
Rust.
Rust.
No rust, nothing keeping it.
I mean, the only thing that fell in my eye was when I was in there cutting metal. But other than that, yeah.
And grease, boy.
And
they
grease,
did a
yeah.
job on some grease.
The underbody of this thing is coated in grease. But overall, let's take a quick look, get a measurement on the front of this thing.
Oh, yeah, man, let's get it. I don't know if we got one tall enough.
Oh
Just
my goodness.
barely.
So we are at
45 and a half.
45 and a half.
So what was we last night? Do you remember?
Yeah,
Was
we
it
were
38 and a half?
we were at 38 and a half starting on the rear, and we ended up at 46 and a half. No, at 45 and a half, almost dead on.
Yeah.
And the front was 37 even, so it was about 1.5 inches less in the front.
Okay.
So we got that back. That leveled the truck out really, really nice.
Yeah, so we're really level then.
So how did it handle when it drove?
It handled pretty good. Definitely needs an alignment, but after you get a lift on, you always need to get an alignment.
Yeah.
We knew that going into it, but felt almost like factory. We'll probably here in about 2 months we'll do a 2-month review, and me and Brad will go back in. We'll tighten everything back up. I should have another 500 miles on it then. Every 500 miles, man, or after the first 500 miles of your lift, you definitely want to bolt check everything, make sure everything's good. We made sure that we went around and bolt checked everything before I drove it. Yeah, man, so feels factory so far. It definitely feels a little wavy, but that's probably, because it's a lift.
Yeah, that's what a 6-inch lift does. This this guy right here can tell you. So this is our next project we're gonna be working on, so y'all stay tuned for that. But overall, rough country 6-inch lift review 2026 Chevy Silverado. On a difficulty scale, I'll say it was probably around a 6.5, 7.
What was the most difficult part that you would
So
think, Brad?
if you are a novice mechanic, you can do this hands down any day. The tools required aren't crazy. You might have to get a few oversized sockets. If you have impacts and impact wrenches and stuff like that, obviously you're going to have a lot easier time. But just remember, you are going to have to cut a little section of this frame, but you're going to be replacing it. The electronics on here, there's a lot, but it's not too worrisome. They make it pretty simple and step forward. But other than that, just the time, be patient, don't rush yourself, be methodical about it, and please, please, please remember, we are not professionals.
No.
We're just amateur hour out here, just trying to spread some knowledge on what we learned.
Just trying to show you
But
how we done it.
yeah.
Not saying that's how you should do it.
And I know we skipped a
That's how we
few
do it,
things on this video. One, that's for time. Two is we're not going to belittle any of y'all. If you're watching this video, you have somewhat common sense or mechanical skills. The instructions are pretty straightforward. It would be nice if they were in color,
Yes.
but you can go online.
We did go online, found the color photos on Rough Country's website.
Which does make it a little simpler.
Yeah, and the only thing we ran into that wasn't on the instructions, as I stated previously, was the T55 bit bolt.
Yep.
That's on the outside of your frame rail on your driver's side for the differential drop.
And that's the bracket. So
yeah, to put the bracket on. So,
but other than that, just keep in mind that this lift kit is for a series of different years of Chevy trucks. So pay attention to the instructions from a 17 to a 19 to a 20 to a 2026, which we have right here.
yeah.
There's going to be a few things different. Let me see your hands real quick, John. What you got? Oh, those are pretty good, man. Pretty good. Yep.
His hands look like that, so my hands can look like this.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all following us. Again, part 3. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you made it this far in the video. We'll be catching up with our next project as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.